write letter. Okay. Okay, take care. I have been long working with the Malaysian Red Crescent Society. Many delegates have come, and I have many expatriate staff working together with me. So speaking to them of their varied experiences, and again looking at the media over what's happening in this region, further motivated me.
I'm a social worker, and I was very interested in the work of the social welfare program. This is the first time we've really been involved in a situation where there is active conflict, where people needed psychosocial support, not later after the conflict was over, but during the actual conflict. And to be able to play a role in this program, in the social welfare program of the Federation, meant a great deal to me.
As a public relations manager, it's far better, and there's greater job satisfaction working for a humanitarian organisation than, say, for an electricity company when everyone has to buy electricity. It's two totally different worlds.
I started with IFRC because I wanted to travel and to discover new cultures, and that was the main motivation.
In some ways, things are quite different from what I expected. I wasn't sure what to expect in terms of living conditions, what day-to-day life would be like. But I did have some expectations about what the program was about and what we would be doing, particularly in the direct work with refugees. And those expectations have definitely been met. It's been the most rewarding experience of my life.
And I was prepared for the worst. Coming here, I found it much more easier, much more relaxed than I expected.
In Belgrade right now the living conditions are quite good because we have managed to establish this delegation and find very good apartments for our delegates. However, in the beginning it was not so easy. We had to live in small and not so comfortable apartments.
I've lived on mission in a variety of locations in Cambodia, Sri Lanka, so on and so forth. Generally, I'm put into a hotel, always a very good hotel, which I'm a little uncomfortable about. I do find a slight dichotomy between a relief worker living in a five-star hotel when you think of what the victims and beneficiaries are having to go through. When I've lived in houses for any length of time, as I did in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh, that was good, and I think that was about the right level of accommodation.
Well, working as a delegate is not 9-to-5 job. It's not 5-day-a-week job. One should forget about that if one wants to be a delegate. Here, you must be prepared to work 18 hours, prepared to work 7 days a week, and time shouldn't be a factor. If there is a need, 24 hours.
Well, I spend as little time in the office as possible. I think most of us who came here as delegates are interested in working in the field directly with people as much as possible. That's what we're here to do. So that's the part that I love the most, and I think that in talking with my colleagues, we all feel the same way about that, that we're here. You want to feel that you're making a difference in people's lives, and being out in the field is the part that is the most rewarding. That's why we're here. That's why we came here.
Sometimes I have to say, because of the deadlines that are imposed on us, relationships with national societies national society counterparts do get a little strained, and I don't think anyone should go into the field thinking that aspect of the work will be straightforward and easy. It won't be.
Relation with local partner is good. But the only problem sometimes I face is communication, because not all of them in this region speak English. So very often I will have to use an interpreter to communicate with them.
You have to take your time. You have to work within the framework of the culture that you're in. You can't expect things to move too fast. And I think this is probably one of the most difficult challenges that a delegate might face.
I have to say that my health is quite strong because I've been to other delegations before. But of course, the change of water, climate can affect your health.
I think the great temptation, which I always give into when going on a mission, is never ever to take any time off, to drive myself and those around me to the absolute limit and beyond, never resting, and that is a weakness in me, which I recognise, and yeah, it certainly has damaged my health.
That is the biggest problem most delegates or volunteers face. They are so engrossed with their work, with their clients, they forget about themselves. And very often they don't have proper meals. That's when they tend to be lacking in energy. They fall sick.
My family's been very supportive of my work here. And I'm in an unusual situation to a certain extent because I have 2 children whom I've left for 6 months. That's a long time when you have young children. But my husband was fully supportive of this, and my children understand to a certain extent what I'm doing. And every time I talk to them on the phone, my son, who's 7, will say, "Mommy, how are the refugee children doing?" You know, he expresses an interest in the work I'm doing, and he understands that these children have lost their homes, and he understands a little bit about what that means. I know when they're older, they'll have an appreciation for why I did this, and I hope that they'll be motivated to do something in their lives as well, to understand the needs of people who might be half a world away.
I try and keep in touch with my family, but I fail in that miserably.
I call home several times a week, so it's a little bit expensive, but my husband says it's still cheaper than having me home. So I found that for my children it's important to have regular contact.
Being a delegate, you're thrown on the field and you will have to make quick decisions on your own.
Expect to be lonely. It is a very, very lonely existence, agonizingly lonely at times. And I think the second piece of advice is that if what you're trying to do is within your mission instructions, and it should be, don't ever take no for an answer.
Look for a long assignment rather than a short assignment, so that he can understand the work he's doing, understand the country where he will be assigned, and get a better picture of Red Cross work.
It's exhausting, but at the same time it's exhilarating. And you find that as you're out in the field, you become more and more motivated to try to help. And it's got to be the most rewarding work that anyone could ever do.